Well, the city of Akron is preparing for possible protests ahead of next week's special grand jury meeting about the police shooting death of Jayland Walker last summer. Fencing and barricades went up today around the courthouse downtown. The grand jury will decide whether charges will be filed against the 8 police officers involved. News 5's Catherine Ross joins us to explain the questions and concerns neighbors are raising ahead of next week. And Catherine, obviously we see the city is preparing for it.
Yeah, well, Delon, that grand jury of 9 Summit County residents will be seated on Monday, and the Attorney General's office hopes to present all of the evidence by Friday. Of course, it's impossible to know what the jury will decide, but tonight city leaders said they want everyone to be prepared for all possible outcomes and reactions. This has been the view for Akron city leaders in recent weeks.
There was a tragedy that happened in this city that impacted so many people.
More than 9 months after Akron police officers fatally shot Jayland Walker, they're hoping to inform, prepare, and unite Akronites before the next step in the case.
I don't look at boundaries like that, like this is North Hill and that's downtown, because I think we're all, one big city.
Wednesday night's meeting in Ward 2 is part of Akron's Community Conversation Series. The police chief, mayor's chief of staff, and other leaders have been talking with the community about the grand jury process, the department's use of force policy, and how to safely assemble.
It's important because, a lot of people are anticipating a lot of negative things.
This meeting comes as the Ohio Attorney General's office prepares to present evidence to a grand jury in the Jayland Walker case. In late June of 2022, the 25-year-old was shot more than 40 times by officers after a car and foot chase. He was unarmed during the shooting, but police say he fired a shot from his car and a gun was found in the vehicle. Starting next week, a grand jury will hear the facts and ultimately decide if the 8 officers involved should face charges. Some Ward 2 residents worry what the outcome could mean for the city.
I don't want any violence. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I heard all about last year, and it was a sad situation that nobody could go downtown.
Some unrest last summer resulted in damaged property and arrests. This week, the city is proactively placing barriers and boarding up windows. It's also designating a demonstration zone for any protests.
We're preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. That's our responsibility. Our goal is to provide a safe space for people to engage in their constitutionally protected right to assemble and protest.
The police chief tells me he's prepared to call in partner agencies in the Department of Justice for crowd control. City leaders say they're bracing for all outcomes and urging peace no matter what.
Be calm and let's see what happens and let's let it work out its course, and then after that we'll see what happens.
And the grand jury process is just the next step in this case. Regardless of what happens there, the police department plans to conduct its own internal investigation. The city is also preparing for a civil case with Jayland Walker's family. And the chief says the names of the officers involved will only be released if they're indicted. Delon.